Hello, my name is Rich Howard, owner of Architectural Builder Supply. This video is to bring you a closer look at the Securitron number 490-11000 push to exit large label, self-adhesive. Just a commentary about 3M. When it comes to adhesives, I've used adhesives by lots of different companies. There's only one brand that ever did the job where I didn't have to do it again in 6 months. That's 3M. I would imagine that's why Securitron uses it. It's the only brand that they found that they can rely on. So this is on the touchpad of the TouchSense device. Let's go over some dimensional properties of this first. Overall width, or length I should say, about 9.5. Overall height of the label itself, about 1.1 inches. Those letters, I was going to say I bet they're 1 inch, because 1 inch is a pretty standard code size when it comes to letters, numbers on decals. Let's switch to the screen view and take a little more deeper look at the Securitron and the TouchSense bar where this comes from. Okay, so this is the item that we are looking at here. Not a lot to see here, but let's switch over to the manufacturer's page. There we can pull up a link to the product catalog, and inside of here we can do a find function for TouchSense. And then eventually we'll get to the TouchSense bars. Here's a dual sense. You get an idea of where that decal is going to go. Okay, there's your TSB. Of course, that standard TouchSense bar. What's a TouchSense bar used for? It's really a giant request to exit switch is really what I think that it is. Touching the bar, even through light gloves or clothing, triggers an electronic sensor that releases the lock. For indoor use only, the TSB installs easily on all types of metal, aluminum, or wood frame doors. Meets no special tools or knowledge criteria in code. So basically, a TouchSense bar is a request to exit switch, which communicates to the locking hardware to say, would you please unlock? You know, it indicates to the access control system to open that circuit. And that's what it's for. With enough use, that decal is going to wear out. It is mandated by code, or can be, or likely is, that you need to have these letters here, that instruction there, so that you are compliant with the no special tool or knowledge. You don't have to have previous knowledge of how to use a knob on a door to know how to operate it. So we take subconsciously for granted the fact that we can walk up to a door and see a pull plate and pull the door open. Same concept here, but because this is less obvious of what's happening, they do have some letter requirement telling the user what needs to be done. Okay, activates a 2 amp double pole single throw rated relay when touched. No mechanical movement, which will allow free egress. Okay, so you'll have a double pole single throw. A double pole single throw might be a Form Z. I don't recall. Double pole single throw. Double pole single throw switch. So just trying to dig a little deeper in terms of what that looks like. Oh, sorry. And here would be a good example of what it is supposed to look like. Okay, this might be a normally open single pull, single throw, single pull, double throw, double pull, single throw. So shown in a normally open condition, obviously this is going to be wired such that you'll have likely normally open would be its standard state. And then when you touch sense that, well, I would say no, it would be normally closed. And when you touch that bar, it's going to normally open that condition, allowing the lock to unlock. So that's what it schematically looks like. Okay. Abbreviation for double pull, single throw. Double pull means that the unit contains two identical switches side by side and operated by a single toggle or lever. This means that two separate circuits, and that's the heart of the matter. Two separate circuits are at the same time controlled through one push. And we thank LPROCUS, Electronics Projects Focus, for that definition. So what that really means is when we're looking at our hardware with a double pull single throw, you can communicate to the access control like the mag lock, and you can also communicate to something else, like maybe an alarm or a switch, or an LED light that might be present somewhere. So that's why you would have a double pull, single throw switch. Okay. You wouldn't have double pull, double throw, because every time you hit the bar, it would be going from, on, off, open, closed, right? So single throw would be the way to go with that. Anyway, just interesting to know why that's there and why it's included in that piece of equipment. That link to the manufacturer's page that was here will allow you to review not only all of the Securitron products that we sell, but also a link to the manufacturer's website, as well as a link to the full product catalog and other encyclopedic documents, prior versions of the catalog as well. Let's wrap up this video on camera. This client happened to buy a dozen of these decals, and it could very likely be that there is a installation, a facility that has dozens of doors that have touch sense bars, magnetic locks. They have a sensor, very likely. They probably have a key switch as well. They could have a sensor. Probably not a sensor. On the exterior, there's going to be card access, very likely. Or they might have a sensor on the outside that is operating during a window of hours, whatever it might be. But to have the hardware itself provide the service and do so reliably and dependably and in accordance with code literally boils down to making sure that the health of the decal is there as well. Securitron, the name is synonymous with access control. That link to the catalog can take you through their full product offering. One thing I like about Securitron is their catalog is accessible. Their how to order structure is always very simple and straightforward. They really take a confusing and complicated technical product line and they distill it down to its essence, where anyone, especially those that don't make a living selling electrified hardware, can understand what way in which the part number needs to be structured so that Securitron understands what you want. Any questions on this part number, which I've forgotten, is 490-11 490-11 or any other Securitron product, please feel free to reach out to us. And thank you.